Welcome to 2024. It's a year, brand new year, brand new time, and a brand new season for many. Many have goals, many have things they want to accomplish, many have things they want to do, many have things that they want to see. And it's all fair game. Every time a new year starts, I think that is genuinely an opportunity, time, and space for a person not to just recreate themselves, but reorient and redirect their life. Reorient and redirect their life. And so, on this edition of Jay Shakur Uncensored today, I want to look at what it means to continue to grow with gratitude. If you watched the previous episode that aired before this, I talked about the necessity or the need for growth and how everybody wants to grow. And the foundation for that is gratitude. You have to be grateful. You have to show gratitude. You have to have a sense and an ability to have a space for gratitude. And that holds. But I want to further that thought and that thinking on today's edition. I want to further that thought and thinking today about growth. We all want to grow. We all want to grow. And I said, and I believe still, the foundation to do so is rooted in gratitude. You have to be grateful where you are in order to see more. But understanding that growth, the expectations for 2024 and this year going forward for many is strong. They want this, they want that, they got this goal, they got that goal, they want to do this, they want to accomplish that, they want to see this happen, they want that to happen in their life. All are good, all are noble, and a healthy person, as I said before, wants to grow. But growth only happens through grace and gratitude. We talked about gratitude last time, let's talk about grace. In this context, grace is only needed because there's this other counter force, if you will, that exists, and that is chaos. I want to talk about the distinctions between chaos and order and how you're going to have a 2024 that is full of order, good things are going to go according to plan, but you're also going to have a 2024 that is full of chaos. And the key to successfully navigating those times that are chaotic and those times that are quote unquote in order is going to be grace. Let me say that again better. In 2024, you got your New Year's resolutions, you got your goals, your long-term, your short-term goals. You got all of these things listed. I want to do this, I got to do that, I should do this, I want to do this, I want to do that. That's good, that's great. But goals, while necessary, do not, in fact, cannot guarantee that there won't be any chaos. Let me say it a better way, even better way. You have your goals, you have your ideas, you have your things you want to achieve in 2024, as you should. And the key to understanding that is, while I have my goals, there's still going to be in some way chaos. And I want to talk about how I believe, through my reading and research, to navigate the chaos that will come about, that will appear, that will show up in 2024. The thing about it is that you have to have the sense, the knowledge to navigate it, because you can't avoid it. There's a book called 12 Rules for Life. You may have heard of it, you may have not, I'm not sure. But I want to start reading a couple excerpts from that book. I recommend it for everybody to kind of navigate the conversation, okay? I want to start there to navigate the conversation, give it a bit of a foundation, and then we'll go from there. The overture or the opening chapter of the book starts off saying, order and chaos are the yang and yin of the famous Taoist symbol. Two serpents, head to tail. Order is the white masculine serpent. Chaos is the black feminine counterpart. The black dot in the white and the white dot in the black indicate the possibility of transformation. In other words, just when things seem secure, which that's key here, just when things seem secure, the unknown can loom, unexpectedly and large. Conversely, just when everything seems lost, new order can emerge from catastrophe and chaos. Read that part again. Just when things seem secure, the unknown can loom, unexpectedly and large. Conversely, just when everything seems lost, new order can emerge from catastrophe and chaos. He goes on to say, for the Taoist meaning is to be found only on the border between the ever intertwined pair. To walk that border is to stay on the path of life in the divine way. For the Taoist, meaning is to be found on the border between the ever entwined pair. Meaning, I'm not a Taoist, I'm a Christian, so my Christians out there don't panic. I ain't trying to convert people, I ain't teaching false doctrine. But the Taoist idea in Christianity is simply, in my view, it's simply grace. There is going to be chaos that disrupts the order of your life. Hear me. Going into 2024, you have your goals, you have your to-do list, you have your long-term goals, your short-term goals, your resolutions, your things you want to change. Good, great, nice. That's all divine order. But there are things, there's chaos that will come in to interrupt order. And how you navigate that determines how you grow. How you navigate the chaos that will come in to disrupt the order that you set for your year, for your life, for your marriage, for your family. How you navigate the chaos that comes in to interrupt the order of your life. Excuse me. How you navigate that will determine how you grow. Let me say that one more time because my alarm went off. How you navigate the chaos that comes in to disrupt the order of your life, the order of your goals, the order of your family, the order of your marriage, the order of your life, the order that you've set for and planned for 2024. How you navigate the chaos that comes in to disrupt that order will determine how you grow and how much you grow. So that's one part that he talks about in the overture or the prologue of the book. Then another part he says this: because we are vulnerable and mortal, pain and anxiety are an integral part of human existence. We must have something to set against the suffering that is intrinsic to being. We must have something to set us against. We must have something to set in opposition to. We must have something to juxtapose, to be the opposite of the suffering and the chaos that is intrinsic, that is going to happen, that is inevitable to the fact that we're human beings. We must have the meaning inherent in a profound system of value, or the horror of existence rapidly becomes paramount. In other words, he's saying we must have some type of meaning that can offset the chaos of life, that may in some instances and cases cause us to give ourselves over to bitterness, anger, resentment, and then prevent us from growing. So, he says, no value, no meaning. Between value systems, however, there is the possibility of conflict. We thus eternally are caught between the most dynamic rock and the hardest of places. Loss of group-centered belief renders life chaotic, miserable, and intolerable. Presence of group-centered belief makes conflict with other groups inevitable. And he goes on to talk about how there has to be a system of belief that gives life meaning. And then he adds this in another part of the introduction. He says, how could the world be freed from the terrible dilemma of conflict on the one hand and psychological and social dissolution on the other? The answer was this: through the elevation and development of the individual and through the willingness of everyone to shoulder the burden of being and to take the heroic path. We must each adopt, he says, as much responsibility as possible for individual life, for yourself, society, and the world. And his theory or his argument is meaning in life comes from responsibility. But navigating and getting to a place where meaning is preeminent, where you give yourself the responsibility. There's a sense, there's a dignity, if you will, in getting up every day for anybody, going to school, going to work. There's a sense of dignity. You have something to contribute to the world, and you hone in on that, and you focus in on that, and you build from that, and that becomes a thing that gives you dignity, and that gives you meaning. And you have that meaning and you push that meaning, and that meaning causes you to make better decisions. Now, things happen that disrupt the order of your life. I remember let's do something general. Let's go back to 2020. I remember it distinctly. No one, I think, can forget it. January, new year, new goals of 2020. Great year. Oh my God, this is going to be our year, 2020 vision. Oh my God, I see clearly 2020 vision. And January hit, cool. It was election year, happened to be cool. Everything's great. Oh my gosh, it's going to be a good year. January comes. February comes. For me, 2019 was a horrible year because my grandmother died September of that year. So a new year, it was my first holiday season without her. We're getting out of the holiday season. We're starting a new year. Oh my God, I'm grateful. Let's get this year started. I think this year's gonna be my year. 2019 was horrible, so 2020 got to be my year. Come on. And all of a sudden, March of that year, I started hearing a P word, pandemic. I'm like, what in the world? What are we talking about here? What are we really doing? All of a sudden, the world literally, the world shuts down. Quarantine, social distancing, mask, and no longer can go to work in person, and all of these different things. And I'm like, wow. 2 months ago, I was celebrating the new year, thinking this would be the best year, better than 2019, because 2019 ended so horribly for me. But this is probably competing to be the worst with 2019. And I'm thinking, okay, I had goals. I had things I wanted to accomplish. I knew the path I wanted to take. I had an idea of the path I wanted to take. And all of a sudden, the chaos of a pandemic came and disrupted everything. Completely disrupted, dislocated everything I had planned for. Completely did that. And I'm like, wow. And that happened for everybody. I think everybody to a certain extent can say that happened to them. I truly do think everybody to a certain extent can say that happened to them. They had plans for 2020. And for many, if we're being honest, if we're being truthful, if we're being real, what you had planned for 2020 was supposed to set up the last 2-3 years of your life. And because what happened in 2020 happened, the last 2-3 years of your life have really been hell on earth. And so 2024 is like your reprieve. It's like, okay, now I've caught my breath, I've reset, I've gotten a little bit out of debt, I've done XYZ. Now, finally, I can have some order in my life. But here's the thing. Life is not guaranteed to be all order and no chaos. In fact, life is a mix of the yin and yang. It is a mix of chaos and order. So the question becomes, how do I optimize and learn from the chaos of my life so that I can grow? And I say that it's this. You'll be able to grow and do so expressing gratitude, as we talked about before, when you don't panic when chaos arises, when chaos rears its ugly head, you will be able to grow and do so with gratitude when you don't panic when chaos, because it will, when it arises, but instead manage, ensure you stay on the dividing line of chaos and order. And that dividing line between chaos and order is where human beings, at least in God's, in my view, in God's divine plan and purpose, are to stay, are to live. It's a place and it's a tool. We are to stay on that dividing line between chaos and order. We aren't to go too far over into chaos and let it consume us and drown us. And we aren't to go too far into order where our life loses its adventure and wonder. But we are to stay on that middle fine line between chaos and order. And I say that's called grace. Grace, as I said, is a place, it's a tool. And here's the key. Here's the key. Grace is divinely given by God, unearned assistance and help by God. It's God's divine ability to tame the chaos of life. And he does that by staying in a place, that middle spot of grace. And it's simply coming to this realization. It's hard for human beings to get there. It takes a minute for some human beings to get there. But it's simply coming to this realization, that fine line that I'm talking about between chaos and order, that middle line, that middle ground, is coming to this realization that I am not in control. We are not in control. We have no control over much of life. But we should know who's in control. It said like this once, and I believe this is encapsulating everything I wanted to say. I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I know who holds tomorrow. So, you want to grow in 2024. We all do. We want to grow in this year, this season of life. All healthy people do. I think that's a given. So how do you do that? Starting from the base point of gratitude. And you can be grateful for little and it will become much. We talked about that last time. But also you grow. Starting from a basis point of gratitude by showing, expressing, living in, and living through and living by grace. 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 And that is God's ability, divine ability, to tame the chaos on your behalf. What am I saying? I'm saying 2024 ain't gonna be perfect. You should have your goals, short term, long term. You should even have your resolutions, short term, long term. But 2024 ain't gonna be all perfect. It ain't gonna be all orderly. There will be some chaos. And how you navigate the chaos is strictly by God's grace. And you being on that fine line between chaos and order, in other words, called surrender. By understanding and realizing, once again, while I don't know what tomorrow holds, I can make my plans, I can have my goals. I do know who holds tomorrow. And so, when we set the goal, or we want to grow, it starts, hear me, it starts with gratitude. I'm thankful for where I am, knowing this is not where I want to stay, but I'm thankful for where I am. I have my goals, I have my dreams, I have my achievements. But I understand everything ain't gonna be orderly. And because everything ain't gonna be orderly, excuse my improper English, I must live from a place and a space of not only gratitude, but grace. Surrendering to God's divine ability to tame the chaos, both within myself, internally, and externally around me. That's the key to growth. That's the key to growth. You grow through grace and gratitude. You grow through gratitude and grace.